Good morning. This is day 10 of my Arunachal ride. Today's plan is to ride from Ziro to Daporijo. The distance is around 165 kilometers. As usual, I started early in the morning at around 6:30. The roads were a bit wet, a sign that it had rained last night. I was on the lookout for a tea stall to get some hot tea and continue the ride. But there were no shops open early in the morning. So I proceeded to the next available option on the way. These roads were good, but sometimes the first impression is a bit deceptive, and that is what I learned today. Until about 35 kilometers from Zero, the roads were very nice, wide and blacktop with hardly any traffic. But after that, this road turns into a really bad one, which I realized after the first break. I took my break after around 40 kilometers and had some tea and Maggie while chatting with some local guys who told me that the road ahead was a difficult one since road work had been done only up until that point. I proceeded from that shop, and just as they had told me, the road was indeed very bad. Two things worse, most of the stretches were completely slushy and muddy due to monsoon season, with mud cakes formed in many places. So the progress was very slow. Many times in slushy stretches, you can't really ride and need to paddle with both legs on the ground. Otherwise, you will lose your balance and slip. After a while, I stopped at another place for lunch. I had a light meal and it started raining there as well. I didn't see any point in waiting as I still had around 80 to 90 kilometers left to cover today. In between, there were a few hundred meters of good road that felt nice to ride on, but they never went on for more than 300 to 400 meters, after which the road turned to the other extreme. I then got into a major block that I didn't initially realize as I only saw vehicles waiting in a line. Since I was on a motorcycle, I could bypass them and go a bit further. That was when I realized I had to stop due to some road cutting work taking place. Two JCBs were working in full form. I had reached there at around 1 o'clock, and it took 2 whole hours for the road to be cleared. So I had to wait there till about 3 o'clock. By now, I could easily tell that today is going to be the toughest day of the journey so far, and quite possibly the longest too, looking at the distance remaining and the time left. That meant today would be the first day in the ride. I wouldn't reach my destination before the sunset. From here, it's another 60 to 70 kilometers to Daporijo, and with these road conditions, it would be a tough challenge to hit Dapo before the sunset. The cars slowly started moving, and I waited for the cars ahead to pass, and then started from there. There was no respite from the bad road, which made the ride a tough one. After around 1.5 hours, I found a small shop and I stopped there for some juice and biscuits to boost my energy levels as I was very hungry from the physical exertion and the cold. It was necessary to stop in between for short breaks as energy levels would drop frequently. Moreover, there were hardly any roadside dabas or shops available due to this road work. I started from the shop at around 5 o'clock. It was another 25 kilometers from here to Daporijo, and the road conditions were the same. There was frequent cutting and the road was laid between every few stretches. For the most part, it was very bad roads. There was again some road widening work happening ahead, due to which I had to stop. Luckily, it was only for about 10 minutes and I was able to pass through. I stopped again for a final short break to drink some water before hitting the pole. It was slowly getting dark. I was relieved to see some blacktop road, but it was only for again a few hundred meters, after which the roads were slushy again. Further ahead, the road conditions were slightly better. By the time I reached the outskirts, it was pitch dark. I'm riding downhill and I could see the lights below coming from the valley. At around 7 o'clock in the pitch darkness, I reached Dapor and I was lucky to get a room in the main market area. I quickly took a bath and came out as I was very hungry, and there was a nice restaurant near the hotel I was staying at. I had some fried rice and chicken. As I looked back at the ride up until this point, I realized this had been the toughest day so far. It took almost 12.5 hours to finish 165 kilometers. I started at 6:30 in the morning and reached here at probably 7 in the evening. For the next day, I didn't plan on traveling anywhere and wanted to visit some local attractions. I went back to my room soon after dinner, and with that, my 10th day in Arunachal came to an end.